Alright, so this is my second take. So I'm going to try to make this shorter. So, my main issue with Linux Mint Debian Edition was always I couldn't get the kernel to update properly. And it turns out I'm kind of an idiot. And basically, if you go into Synaptic, as you can see, my Wi-Fi and everything's working. So before I break down into this, let me explain what's different about this version of Linux Mint Debian Edition, and that is that I have MX repositories in it. So what you want to do to get the MX repositories is go ahead here and copy that, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go to Home. You're going to go to File System, you're going to go to etc, apt, you're going to grab some white space, you're going to open as root, enter your password, hit sources list, you're going to add a space here after you enter, then you're going to add, go ahead and paste that there, and then what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down and you're going to copy and paste this one. Just make sure there's a space in between here, and then go ahead and put that in. And then what you're going to do is going to scroll down some more, and you're going to hit this, you're going to save file, hit OK, and then get out of here. What you're going to do is go to All Programs, Administration, Software Sources, go to Authentication Keys, hit Import, Other Locations, Computer, Home, go to Downloads, and go ahead and find that, and then just hit Open, and it will add it. I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. It's already here, as you can see. So once you have the MX Linux repositories, what that's going to allow you to do is scroll down to LIN after typing in Linux. Here. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is Linux config 5.7. That is the latest version, and as you can see here, it's the MX Linux repository. Then you're going to go ahead and click that to install. Then you're going to scroll down some more. We got a few more files we have to find and click to install. You want to install Linux header AMD 64 version. There it is. Go ahead and click that to install. Then you want to find the Linux image. There it is, Linux Mint image. Again, these are all coming from the MX Linux repository. Then you want Linux kbuild and Linux source. And that should about do it. Go ahead and install those, reboot your system, and you'll have Linux kernel 5.7-01. Again, this is from the MX Linux repository. I've always found updating kernel and Debian to be a pain in the ass, and it turns out all I had to do was go to Synaptic, so I'm kind of a fucking dipshit there. By default, though, one of the things you're going to want to do is go to applets, and you're going to want to install the Blueberry applet. And the reason is, I will show you, and this has always been my problem with Linux Mint Cinnamon, is by default this is on, and as you can see, that is fucking ugly as shit. It really breaks this very nice theme, where the only colors really are the blue in the recording here, and the colors of the apps. Everything else is this nice dark theme here, and then you just have this ugly blue and green thing. I'm kind of pissed at Linux Mint when they made Cinnamon version 4.6. It's only available right now on Elena. Go ahead and turn that fucking thing off. And I originally installed this before. This is my second install of Linux Mint Debian Edition. The first time I actually added the repositories of Debian testing. Now, when I installed Debian Cinnamon version non-free on this laptop, yesterday I think it was, I tried updating to testing and it just fucking broke the system. And I tried it putting the testing repositories on Linux Mint Debian Edition thinking, oh, it'll work better, it's made for Cinnamon better than Debian. No, it broke the fucking system again. So you can't use Debian testing apparently for whatever reason right now. I couldn't tell you what the fuck's going wrong with that. I did add a weather app here, so that looks nice. And that's pretty much that. It's a very nice distro. I have WaterFox installed instead of Firefox. Basically cuts out all the telemetry. This is, as you can see, it's MX Linux repository. I do like MX Linux. I think it's a very good distro, but I'm not the biggest fan of XFCE. I much prefer Cinnamon over anything else. I don't even like KDE that much. I literally gave up on it because I couldn't figure out how to turn off the notifications and all that shit. And I just couldn't get it the way I wanted it. So going forward, I am going to be using Linux Mint Debian Edition. That is going to be my main. I need water or something. I'll get it when I'm done here. My mouth's really dry. Overall, it is just a very good distro. Linux Mint always has been. And there's really no reason to use anything else unless you need to. But for me, Debian was what I started on. I used it for about 9 years. It's what I know better than anything else. And it does have the best repository I've seen across any Linux distro. When you install Vivaldi, it's a deb file by default. B1 Free Archiver, also a deb file. It's much easier to install a deb file with gdebi than it is trying to unpack a tar file. So overall, I want something in the Debian family. I don't want something based off Ubuntu. The repository in MX Linux is fantastic. The one thing keeping me from using the Debian edition of Linux Mint was I couldn't figure out how to update the kernel. As you can see, my Wi-Fi is working, so everything's working fine, so this is going to do fine for me. I'm really glad that the MX Linux repository, unlike the Debian testing repository, isn't breaking my fucking system. And overall, this is just going to be my main system for the future. I'm gonna finish installing my applications and shit, and I am hoping they update this version of Cinnamon soon. But pretty much, yeah. This is perfect. It works just fine. I've just got to install some applications here. but overall, it is just a very nice distro, and that's really the main thing. Is you want something stable, you want something that looks nice because you're going to be staring at your screen a lot, and overall you want it to be able to work and do what you need it to do. And for me, the Debian package system, it has more of what I need than anything else. Cinnamon is the only desktop environment I've used that fits my needs perfectly, that's easy to theme, it's not going to break or any of that shit. It's very well themed too. I really do like the way I theme it right here, which is, if we go to themes here, I have Windows borders set to mint white dark, icons mint white gray, mint white darker gray, so you have this extra extension of black here. So that just looks nice. DMZ white for my cursor, which only available on Debian systems, by the way. What I have noticed is when I installed DMZ white on KDE's version of MX Linux, which is still in beta, it's had some KDE dependencies. It didn't load properly, and it kind of mixed breeze with DMZ white for some reason, and it just looked fucking stupid. And I don't like the bright colors of KDE, honestly. And then this is dark gray, so if you go here, as you can see, it highlights gray. It's gray here. I just like this better than anything. I don't like bright colors that much. So I'm going to end this here, and I'm going to go watch some television. And it's going to take me a few hours to install my packages, but I'm going to save that for later. I'm basically just going to take a fucking break. And that's pretty much that. Hope this was educational and informative. And I'll see you guys in the next video.